The world is filled with unsolved mysteries, secrets lost in time, questions that remain unanswered. Some have drifted into the vastness of space, others lie buried beneath the earth, and some still linger in the shadows, waiting to be understood. Tonight, as you close your eyes, let these mysteries take you on a journey beyond the known. There's no need to seek answers. Simply relax, breathe deeply, and allow the unknown to guide you into sleep. The mystery of consciousness. What does it mean to be aware? To think, to feel, to experience the world around you? Consciousness is the most intimate part of our existence. Yet, it remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of science and philosophy. How does the brain, a biological mass of neurons and electrical impulses, give rise to thoughts, emotions, and self-awareness? Is consciousness merely a product of brain activity, or does it exist beyond the physical realm? For centuries, philosophers and scientists have debated the nature of consciousness. Some believe it emerges from the complexity of the human brain, a phenomenon that arises naturally when neurons communicate in intricate patterns. According to this view, known as materialism, consciousness is simply a byproduct of biology, an advanced form of information processing. Just as a computer follows complex algorithms, the brain organizes data and produces the experience of being alive. But this explanation leaves many questions unanswered. If consciousness is just the brain at work, why do we feel emotions? Why do we have a sense of self? And why does awareness seem so different from physical processes like digestion or muscle movement? Others argue that consciousness is more than just brain activity, that it may exist independently of the physical body. This idea, called dualism, suggests that the mind and the brain are separate entities. The body is the machine, but consciousness is the driver, something immaterial that cannot be explained by science alone. This theory raises the possibility that consciousness might continue after death, or that it could exist beyond the confines of a biological organism. Could artificial intelligence one day achieve consciousness? If we were to upload a human mind into a computer, would it feel like a person? Even more mysterious is the question of whether consciousness is unique to humans. Do animals experience awareness? Does a dog feel happiness the same way we do? Does an ant have a sense of self, or is it merely following instinct? Some scientists believe that all living things possess some form of consciousness, while others suggest that only humans, and possibly a few highly intelligent animals like dolphins and octopuses, have a deep, self-reflective awareness. And then there's an even more mind-bending question. Could the universe itself be conscious? Some physicists and philosophers propose a radical theory called panpsychism, which suggests that consciousness is not just something that appears in the brain. It might be a fundamental property of the universe itself, just like gravity or electromagnetism. According to this idea, even inanimate objects might possess some level of awareness, however tiny. Could the very fabric of reality be thinking? Could the universe itself be self-aware in a way we can't yet comprehend? Science has made incredible progress in understanding the brain, but the true nature of consciousness remains elusive. Neuroscientists can pinpoint which areas of the brain activate when we think, dream, or feel emotion, but they still don't know why these processes produce subjective experience. Why does seeing the color red feel like something? Why does pain hurt? Why does love create such deep emotional connections? These are the hard problems of consciousness, questions that science has yet to answer. Some believe that consciousness is a purely scientific mystery, something we will one day unravel with more research and advanced technology. Others think it may be something far greater, something beyond the reach of human understanding. Could it be that our minds are tapping into a deeper reality, one that we have only begun to glimpse? As you close your eyes and drift into sleep, consider this. Every thought, every dream, every moment of awareness is a mystery unfolding within you. You are experiencing something that no machine, no formula, no scientific experiment can fully explain. Consciousness is the most familiar thing in the world, and yet it remains one of the greatest mysteries of all.
The missing dark matter.
Close your eyes and let your mind drift into the vast, silent depths of space. Imagine yourself floating beyond the reach of any star, beyond the warmth of any sun. The universe stretches infinitely in every direction, a boundless ocean of darkness, punctuated by distant galaxies, each one a swirling masterpiece of cosmic motion. But as you gaze into this abyss, a question lingers, one that has haunted the minds of scientists and philosophers alike. What if most of what exists is something we cannot see? Everything we have ever known, everything we have ever touched, everything we have ever observed, planets, stars, nebulae, entire galaxies, makes up only a tiny fraction of the universe, a mere 5%. The rest, a mystery so deep, so unfathomable, that even after decades of research, it remains hidden in the shadows. This invisible presence, this ghostly force that holds the universe together, is what scientists call dark matter. For centuries, we believed that the laws of gravity, as defined by Newton and later refined by Einstein, dictated the movement of celestial bodies. We thought we understood how galaxies moved, how planets orbited their stars, and how gravity shaped the cosmos. But as astronomers peered deeper into the universe, they found something that defied all logic. Galaxies, massive and majestic, were spinning at speeds that should have torn them apart. Their outer stars, the ones farthest from the galactic center, were moving just as fast as those closer in, something that should have been impossible. According to the laws of physics, these galaxies should have unraveled, their stars flung into the void. And yet, they remained intact, bound together by an unseen force. Something was out there, something with mass, something with gravity, yet completely invisible. It did not emit light, did not reflect it, did not interact with normal matter in any measurable way. The only evidence of its existence was the way it shaped the universe around it. Whatever this substance was, it had to be enormous, making up more than 85% of all matter in the cosmos. But what could it be? Scientists proposed that dark matter might be made up of exotic particles, unlike anything found in the standard model of physics. Some believed it was composed of weakly interacting massive particles, or WIMPs, particles so elusive that they could pass through Earth, through our bodies, without ever interacting with a single atom. Others suggested axions, ultralight particles that could form an invisible cosmic field, subtly influencing the way galaxies and light behave. There were even theories that dark matter could be made up of primordial black holes, ancient remnants from the earliest moments of the universe, too small and too distant to detect. And yet, despite these theories, despite decades of research, despite the most advanced telescopes, detectors, and experiments, we have never directly observed dark matter. We have never caught a glimpse of its particles, never recorded a single interaction. It remains a ghost, lurking at the edges of our understanding. Scientists have buried detectors deep underground, shielded from cosmic radiation, hoping to catch a single dark matter particle colliding with an atom. They have searched the skies, looking for signs of dark matter annihilation, tiny flashes of energy that might betray its presence. They have even used massive particle colliders, smashing atoms together at nearly the speed of light, hoping to create traces of this elusive substance. And yet, nothing. The universe refuses to give up its secrets. But what if we have been searching for the wrong thing? What if dark matter is not a missing particle, but a missing piece of our understanding? Some physicists suggest that dark matter might not exist at all, that instead, our very concept of gravity is flawed. According to a theory known as modified Newtonian dynamics, or MOND, gravity does not behave the way we think it does on cosmic scales. Perhaps what we see as dark matter is not a hidden substance, but rather an illusion created by an incomplete theory of physics. Other scientists propose that dark matter could be a sign of something far more profound, evidence of another dimension, another universe, bleeding into our own, its mass affecting our reality while remaining invisible to us. And then, there is the most mind-bending possibility of all. What if dark matter is not merely a physical substance, but something far stranger? What if it is not just missing matter, but missing consciousness? Some physicists have speculated that dark matter might have properties that go beyond our current understanding of reality, perhaps even linking it to the fundamental nature of existence itself. Could it be that what we call dark matter is something beyond mere particles, something that connects all things in ways we cannot yet comprehend? As you lie there, drifting between wakefulness and sleep. Consider this. We are surrounded by an invisible universe. Every galaxy, every star, every planet, even your own body, is moving through a cosmos filled with something we cannot see, cannot touch, cannot fully grasp. The air around you, the space between your fingertips, the darkness behind your closed eyelids. What if all of it is intertwined with something unseen? Something that shapes reality in ways we have yet to understand? Perhaps one day, we will unlock the secrets of dark matter. Perhaps we will discover what it truly is and rewrite the laws of physics forever. Or perhaps, like so many mysteries before it, dark matter will remain just beyond our reach. A whisper in the void, a riddle that refuses to be solved. For now, let your mind drift through the cosmic unknown. Let the weight of the universe fade away and surrender to the mystery. Sleep as the galaxies spin in silence, held together by a force we cannot see.
The WOW signal.
On the night of August 15th, 1977, something extraordinary happened. A fleeting whisper from the cosmos, an anomaly so unexpected that it left even the most seasoned astronomers stunned. It was a signal brief yet powerful, lasting only 72 seconds, long enough to be recorded, but never to be heard again. The event took place at the Big Ear Radio Telescope at Ohio State University, a facility dedicated to scanning the heavens for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. At the controls was Dr. Jerry Emin, a volunteer researcher for the SETI program, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. As he reviewed the incoming data, something unusual caught his eye. A sudden spike in intensity on a narrow frequency, precisely at 1,420 megahertz. This number was significant. It was the natural emission frequency of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, and a frequency that scientists had long believed could be used for interstellar communication. It was as if the universe itself had whispered a message in the most fundamental cosmic language. Dr. Emin, unable to contain his excitement, circled the reading on the printout and wrote one word beside it in red ink: "Wow!" That single word would go on to define one of the greatest cosmic mysteries of all time. The WOW signal. The WOW signal was different from anything detected before or since. Its strength was unprecedented, some 30 times stronger than the background noise of space. But what made it even more perplexing was its behavior. It didn't slowly fade in or out as a natural radio source might. Instead, it arrived, peaked in intensity, and then vanished. Just like that. In the days that followed, astronomers tried to make sense of what had happened. Could it have been a signal from an advanced extraterrestrial civilization? Was it an interstellar beacon, a greeting from an unknown intelligence? Or was it merely an unusual but ultimately natural cosmic event? Scientists quickly ruled out earthly interference. The frequency of 1,420 megahertz is protected under international law, meaning that no terrestrial transmitter, no satellite, no known human-made object should have been emitting at that wavelength. Furthermore, the WOW signal was highly concentrated, a narrowband transmission, the kind typically associated with artificial sources, not the broad-spectrum emissions of stars or quasars. But there was one problem. Despite repeated attempts, the signal was never heard again. It was a one-time event, a cosmic enigma, puzzle without a solution. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed to explain the WOW signal. Some are grounded in known science, while others venture into the realms of the speculative and the fantastic. One of the most popular explanations is that it was a deliberate transmission from an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. Scientists working in the field of SETI have long speculated that intelligent beings, if they exist, might use radio waves to communicate across the vast distances of space. The 1,420 megahertz frequency, associated with hydrogen, would be an ideal choice, universal, unmistakable, and easily detectable by any civilization with a basic understanding of radio astronomy. Could it be that the WOW signal was a message? If so, was it meant for us? Or were we simply eavesdropping on a transmission not intended for Earth? Others have suggested that the signal was an unusual but natural cosmic event. Some theorists propose that it could have been caused by a distant celestial body, a pulsar, a quasar, or even a previously unknown type of cosmic phenomenon. However, no known astronomical object has been identified that could have produced such a signal. A more recent hypothesis suggests that the signal might have come from a comet passing through the area at the time. Comets are known to release hydrogen gas, which can emit radio waves at 1,420 megahertz. However, this theory remains controversial. Many astronomers argue that a comet could not have produced a signal so powerful and well-structured. Furthermore, follow-up observations of comets have failed to reproduce a similar event. Despite the lack of a definitive explanation, the WOW signal has inspired generations of astronomers, researchers, and enthusiasts to continue the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Since 1977, advances in technology have allowed scientists to scan the skies with far greater precision than ever before. Projects like Breakthrough Listen, the most ambitious SETI initiative to date, use powerful radio telescopes to comb the universe for signals that might indicate intelligent life. But the WOW signal remains unique. No similar signal has ever been detected. Was it a singular event, never to be repeated? Or is it possible that we simply weren't listening at the right time and place again? There is also the unsettling possibility that the message came from a civilization that no longer exists. If the WOW signal was indeed a transmission from an intelligent species, it may have been sent thousands, perhaps even millions of years ago. By the time it reached Earth, its senders could have long since vanished, wiped out by a cosmic catastrophe, an interstellar war, or the natural cycle of planetary extinction. The implications are profound. If the WOW signal was a real attempt at communication, then it proves that we are not alone in the universe. That somewhere, out there, another intelligence once existed, perhaps still exists, seeking to connect across the unfathomable distances of space. It is also possible that the signal was never meant for us at all. It may have been a transmission directed at some other world, far beyond our own, and we just happen to be in the path of its cosmic journey. If so, then the universe could be teeming with signals just like it. Messages drifting through space, unnoticed and unanswered, simply waiting to be found. The WOW signal raises a question far greater than itself. If we do one day receive an undeniable message from another world, what would it say? Would it be a greeting, an invitation, a warning? And how would we respond? For now, the WOW signal remains an open mystery, a single, brief moment in time that has left us with more questions than answers. But as we continue to listen to the stars, as we refine our technology and expand our reach into the cosmos, perhaps one day the signal will return. Perhaps one day the universe will speak again, and this time we'll be ready to listen. The alien megastructure hypothesis. The universe is vast and mysterious, filled with celestial bodies and cosmic phenomena that defy human understanding. Among the many enigmas that have puzzled astronomers and scientists for decades is the possibility that advanced extraterrestrial civilizations might have constructed massive structures in space, structures so large and complex that they could be detected from Earth. This idea, known as the alien megastructure hypothesis, gained widespread attention in 2015 when astronomers observed an unusual dimming of light from a distant star, KIC 8462852, also known as Tabby's star. The irregular and unexplained fluctuations in brightness led some to speculate that a highly advanced civilization might have built a colossal artificial structure around the star, possibly a Dyson sphere or another form of energy harnessing technology. The implications of such a discovery would be profound, as it would provide the first concrete evidence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Tabby's star, located about 1,470 light-years away in the Cygnus constellation, first came to prominence when astronomers analyzing data from NASA's Kepler Space Telescope noticed something unusual about its brightness. Unlike typical stars, which may dim periodically due to planets passing in front of them, Tabby's star exhibited irregular and extreme dips in brightness, some reaching up to 22%, a staggering amount for a main sequence star. The dimming events did not follow a predictable pattern, ruling out common explanations such as orbiting planets, dust clouds, or other naturally occurring celestial bodies. Scientists were left with a mystery that defied conventional astrophysical models. One of the most intriguing possibilities proposed to explain the strange dimming was the presence of an alien megastructure, possibly a Dyson swarm, a theoretical concept first proposed by physicist Freeman Dyson in 1960. The idea behind a Dyson swarm is that an advanced civilization, reaching a Type 2 status on the Kardashev scale, might construct an array of massive satellites or solar panels to encircle its host star, harvesting its energy for technological purposes. Such a structure would intermittently block the star's light, leading to the irregular dimming patterns observed by astronomers. The notion that humanity might have stumbled upon evidence of an advanced extraterrestrial civilization captured the public's imagination, sparking intense speculation and debate among scientists, media, and the general public. However, as exciting as the alien megastructure hypothesis sounded, the scientific community remained skeptical, urging caution before jumping to extraordinary conclusions. Researchers sought to explore all possible natural explanations before considering the involvement of intelligent extraterrestrials. One alternative theory suggested that an enormous cloud of comets or debris could be orbiting the star in an irregular fashion, occasionally blocking its light. Another possibility involved unusual stellar activity, such as an uneven distribution of dust or gas, which could account for the observed fluctuations. Some scientists even proposed that the dimming might be caused by a disk of debris left behind from the destruction of a planet or moon. Further analysis of archival data revealed that Tabby's star had been gradually dimming over the past century, a phenomenon inconsistent with the behavior of most known celestial objects. This long-term dimming added another layer of complexity to the mystery, as it suggested a process that was not only irregular but also progressive. If an alien civilization were indeed constructing a megastructure, it might explain the ongoing reduction in brightness as more and more material was added over time. Yet, without direct observational evidence, the possibility of an artificial structure remained purely speculative. To investigate further, scientists turned to radio telescopes and other advanced observational tools in hopes of detecting signals or unusual emissions that might hint at intelligent extraterrestrial activity. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, focused its efforts on Tabby's star, scanning it for radio transmissions or any signs of artificial signals. Despite extensive monitoring, no definitive evidence of extraterrestrial communication was detected. While this did not rule out the presence of an alien megastructure, it weakened the case for such an extraordinary claim. Over time, more data and research pointed toward natural explanations rather than an artificial origin for the dimming. Studies suggested that the fluctuations in brightness might be caused by a combination of dust clouds, circumstellar material, and complex stellar processes that were not yet fully understood. Some astronomers proposed that Tabby's star could be undergoing a unique phase of stellar evolution, with its outer layers shedding material in an irregular pattern. While these explanations were still being tested and debated, they provided a more plausible framework than the idea of an advanced civilization constructing a massive structure around the star. Despite the growing consensus toward natural explanations, the alien megastructure hypothesis remains a captivating possibility, reflecting humanity's enduring curiosity about intelligent life beyond Earth. The search for alien megastructures continues, with astronomers now examining thousands of other stars for similar anomalies. The concept of megastructures is not limited to Dyson spheres alone. Other hypothetical constructs, such as stellar engines, orbital habitats, and artificial ring worlds, are considered plausible technological advancements for a highly developed civilization. These ideas fuel ongoing research into the potential signs of extraterrestrial engineering that might be detectable from our vantage point in the cosmos. The broader implications of discovering an alien megastructure would be profound. It would not only confirm the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life, but also suggest that such civilizations could be millions or even billions of years ahead of humanity in technological development. The realization that we are not alone in the universe would reshape our understanding of life, technology, and our place in the cosmos. It would challenge long-held philosophical, scientific, and even religious beliefs, opening new frontiers of exploration and discovery. For now, the mystery of Tabby's star remains unsolved, serving as a reminder of the limits of our current knowledge. As telescopes and observational techniques continue to improve, the search for alien megastructures will become more refined, increasing the chances of detecting artificial structures. if they indeed exist. The vastness of the universe suggests that countless civilizations could have risen and fallen long before humanity emerged, leaving behind technological relics that might one day be uncovered. Whether the strange dimming of Tabby's star turns out to be a natural phenomenon or the remnants of an ancient alien civilization, it represents a compelling chapter in the ongoing quest to understand the universe and our place within it. The alien megastructure hypothesis, while speculative, continues to inspire scientific inquiry and public fascination. It embodies the human desire to seek answers beyond our world, to explore the unknown, and to contemplate the possibilities of civilizations far more advanced than our own. While no definitive evidence of extraterrestrial megastructures has yet been found, the search is far from over. The cosmos holds many secrets, and as our technology advances, so too does our ability to unravel the mysteries hidden among the stars. Perhaps one day, we will find undeniable proof that we are not alone, and the discovery of an alien megastructure will mark a new era in human history, one that redefines our understanding of life and intelligence in the universe. The Bermuda Triangle, the ocean's greatest unsolved mystery. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, has long been one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. This vast stretch of the North Atlantic Ocean, spanning 500,000 square miles, is bordered by Miami, Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. For centuries, this region has been associated with strange disappearances of ships, aircraft, and people, often without a single trace of wreckage. The Bermuda Triangle has inspired fear, curiosity, and countless theories, yet no definitive explanation has ever been found. Some believe the answer lies in natural oceanic phenomena, while others speculate about supernatural forces, time warps, or even extraterrestrial involvement. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle continues to haunt the minds of explorers, scientists, and storytellers alike. One of the earliest recorded accounts of unusual activity in the Bermuda Triangle dates back to 1492, when Christopher Columbus and his crew sailed through the area. According to Columbus's logs, their compasses malfunctioned, and they witnessed strange glowing lights dancing on the ocean's surface. He described a fiery ball streaking through the sky before vanishing into the sea. While some modern researchers believe this could have been a meteor or electrical disturbance, the eerie experience set the stage for centuries of strange occurrences that would follow. Among the most famous disappearances was Flight 19, which occurred on December 5, 1945. A group of 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers departed from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on a routine training mission. The weather was clear, and the pilots were well-trained. However, something inexplicable happened during their flight. The squadron leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, radioed in with a chilling message: "We are entering white water. Nothing seems right. We don't know where we are." Even the ocean looked strange. Moments later, all communication was lost. A rescue plane with 13 crew members was sent to search for them, but it too vanished, never to be seen again. Despite extensive search efforts, no wreckage was ever recovered, making Flight 19 one of the most puzzling aviation disappearances in history. The USS Cyclops, a 542-foot-long U.S. Navy cargo ship, suffered a similarly baffling fate. In March 1918, while en route from Brazil to Baltimore, the ship disappeared without a trace, along with over 300 crew members. There were no distress signals, no bad weather conditions, and no mechanical failures reported. It was as if the massive vessel had been swallowed by the ocean itself. More than 100 years later, the fate of the USS Cyclops remains an unsolved enigma. Another infamous case is the Star Tiger and Star Ariel, 2 British airliners that vanished 1 year apart while flying through the Bermuda Triangle. In January 1948, Star Tiger disappeared without sending any distress signals. The following year, in January 1949, Star Ariel suffered the same fate. Despite extensive searches, no wreckage or bodies were ever found, leaving investigators utterly baffled. In 1967, a chilling case known as the Witchcraft incident occurred near Miami. A luxurious yacht, Witchcraft, owned by Dan Burek, set sail for a short cruise just 1 mile off the coast. Burek radioed the Coast Guard, stating that his boat had hit something but was not in immediate danger. When rescue teams arrived only minutes later, the yacht had vanished without a trace. No debris, no bodies, and no explanation were ever found. This was particularly strange because the yacht was designed to be unsinkable and should have remained afloat even if it were severely damaged. Scientists have proposed numerous theories to explain the disappearances. One widely accepted explanation is the presence of rogue waves, massive, unpredictable waves that can reach over 100 feet in height. These waves are powerful enough to capsize the largest ships within seconds, leaving no survivors or wreckage. Some experts also point to methane hydrate eruptions, which occur when trapped methane gas beneath the ocean floor suddenly erupts, reducing the water's buoyancy. If a ship were to pass over such an area at the wrong time, it could sink instantly, leaving no trace behind. Another theory suggests that the Bermuda Triangle is home to powerful magnetic anomalies that interfere with navigation systems. Pilots and sailors have frequently reported compasses malfunctioning, GPS errors, and unexpected deviations in flight paths while traveling through the region. Some scientists believe that natural geomagnetic fluctuations in the Earth's crust could be responsible, while others speculate about hidden energy fields beneath the ocean floor. The Gulf Stream, one of the most powerful ocean currents in the world, is another possible explanation. Flowing through the Bermuda Triangle at speeds of up to 6 feet per second, it has the ability to quickly carry away wreckage, debris, and even entire ships before search teams can locate them. This could explain why so many disappearances leave no physical evidence behind. Despite scientific efforts to demystify the Bermuda Triangle, some people continue to believe in paranormal and extraterrestrial theories. One of the most popular ideas is that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal to another dimension, a place where time and space behave differently. Some theorists suggest that planes and ships are inadvertently slipping into a rift in time, disappearing from our reality altogether. Others believe that aliens may be responsible, abducting aircraft and vessels for reasons unknown. Several UFO sightings have been reported in the Bermuda Triangle, further fueling speculation about extraterrestrial involvement. Some even claim that the lost city of Atlantis lies hidden beneath the Bermuda Triangle and that its advanced technology is responsible for the disruptions in navigation and communication systems. While this theory remains purely speculative, the idea of an ancient civilization with mysterious energy fields continues to captivate the imagination of those fascinated by the unknown. The Bermuda Triangle has also been a major subject in popular culture, inspiring countless books, movies, and documentaries. Charles Berlitz's best-selling book, The Bermuda Triangle, 1974, popularized many supernatural theories, while Hollywood films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977, depicted alien abductions linked to the area. Even modern TV series and podcasts continue to explore new theories, ensuring that the legend of the Bermuda Triangle remains alive. Despite all the research and investigations, no definitive explanation has ever been found to fully account for the hundreds of unexplained disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. Some cases have logical explanations, pilot error, mechanical failure, and extreme weather conditions, but many others remain unsolved. The U.S. government and agencies like NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, argue that the number of incidents in the Bermuda Triangle is not significantly higher than in other heavily traveled oceanic regions. Yet, the unexplained nature of many disappearances continues to fuel curiosity and speculation. Perhaps the real mystery is not just about what happens within the Bermuda Triangle, but why we, as humans, are so drawn to the unknown. The ocean is vast and largely unexplored, and the possibility that it still holds secrets beyond our understanding is what keeps the legend alive. Maybe one day, science will uncover the true cause behind these disappearances, or perhaps the Bermuda Triangle will forever remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in human history. For now, as the waves crash against the shores of Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico, they carry with them the whispers of lost ships, vanished planes, and the countless souls who entered the Bermuda Triangle, never to be seen again. The vanishing of Flight MH370. It was a routine flight, like thousands of others that take off and land safely around the world each day. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing. On board were 239 people, passengers and crew members, each with their own lives, dreams, and destinations. For the first 40 minutes, everything was normal. The pilots communicated with air traffic control, systems showed no signs of distress, and the Boeing 777-200ER aircraft, a modern and well-maintained machine, cruised at an altitude of 35,000 feet. But then, without warning, something happened. The aircraft suddenly vanished from radar screens. One moment it was there, a glowing dot moving steadily across the map, and the next, it was gone, silent, untraceable, and lost to the vastness of the night sky. What followed was one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. Initial confusion soon turned into worldwide concern. Families waited anxiously for news, airlines scrambled for explanations, and governments launched one of the largest search operations in history. At first, it was believed that the plane had crashed somewhere in the South China Sea, along its expected route. But as investigations continued, new and perplexing evidence emerged. Military radar data indicated that after its last communication with air traffic control, the plane made an unexpected turn, deviating sharply from its flight path. It then flew westward, across the Malay Peninsula, before disappearing again over the Andaman Sea. This discovery raised more questions than answers. Why would an aircraft with no distress signals suddenly change course? Who was in control at that moment? And where was it headed? As the world searched for answers, another clue emerged. Data from an Inmarsat satellite, which communicated periodically with the aircraft even after it vanished from radar. These handshakes, as they were called, suggested that the plane continued flying for nearly 7 hours after its last known position. But instead of heading toward China, where it was supposed to land, the signals indicated that MH370 had traveled deep into the Indian Ocean, far from any known destination. The satellite data led experts to a chilling conclusion. The aircraft likely ran out of fuel and crashed somewhere in the remote southern Indian Ocean, one of the most desolate places on Earth. An immediate search began in the suspected crash zone. Ships and planes from multiple countries scoured the waters, using sonar and deep-sea scanning technology to locate wreckage. But despite years of effort, no definitive debris field was found. It was as if the plane had simply vanished into thin air. Families of the passengers were left in agony, desperate for closure, clinging to hope that their loved ones might somehow still be alive. But with no wreckage, no bodies, and no answers, they were left with only theories and speculation. Over the years, pieces of the aircraft did start to emerge, washed up on distant shores thousands of miles from where the plane was last tracked. In 2015, a flappern from a Boeing 777 was found on Réunion Island, confirming that at least part of MH370 had ended up in the Indian Ocean. More debris followed, discovered along the coasts of Madagascar, Mozambique, and other locations. While these fragments provided some evidence of the plane's fate, they did little to explain what actually happened in those final hours. Numerous theories have been proposed, ranging from mechanical failure to deliberate sabotage. One theory suggests that a sudden loss of cabin pressure rendered everyone on board unconscious, causing the plane to fly on autopilot until it eventually ran out of fuel. If this was the case, the passengers and crew may have succumbed to hypoxia, never knowing what was happening before the aircraft plunged into the ocean. Another theory points to the pilot, Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Some investigators speculate that he deliberately redirected the plane, either as an act of suicide or for reasons unknown. Supporters of this theory point to the unusual flight path, which included a sharp turn and a long, controlled descent into the Indian Ocean. However, no concrete evidence links the pilot to such an act, and his family and colleagues have vehemently denied these claims. There are also theories that suggest hijacking. Could someone on board have taken control of the plane, disabling communications and steering it off course? If so, who were they and what was their motive? Some believe it may have been a cyber attack, a remote hijacking carried out by an unknown entity. Others suggest an elaborate cover-up, involving hidden truths that governments and intelligence agencies have not revealed. But without definitive proof, These ideas remain speculation, fueling a never-ending cycle of mystery and intrigue. Despite exhaustive investigations, including an official report released in 2018, no definitive cause has been determined. The report acknowledged that the aircraft's diversion from its flight path was a result of manual intervention, meaning that someone had deliberately altered its course. However, who did it and why remains unknown. The report also criticized the response of Malaysian authorities, highlighting inconsistencies and delays that may have hindered the search efforts. But in the end, it concluded that without the discovery of the main wreckage or flight recorders, the true reason for MH370's disappearance may never be known. The disappearance of flight MH370 remains one of the most unsettling and haunting mysteries in modern aviation. It challenges our understanding of technology, security, and the limits of human knowledge. In an age where satellites track almost every movement on Earth, how can a massive commercial airliner simply vanish? How can 239 souls disappear without a trace? The families of the passengers still seek answers, demanding continued search efforts and refusing to accept silence as an explanation. The search for MH370 has already cost hundreds of millions of dollars, involving multinational efforts and some of the most advanced deep-sea exploration technology available. Yet, the ocean continues to guard its secret. There are still hopes that new search efforts, possibly using even more sophisticated technology, could one day locate the wreckage and finally provide closure. But until that day comes, Flight MH370 remains a ghost, a modern legend of the skies, an enigma that reminds us of the vast, untamed wilderness that still exists on our planet. The loss of MH370 is not just a tragedy but a lesson, one that forces us to confront the limits of human control. It is a reminder that despite all our advances, despite all our knowledge, there are still mysteries in our world that defy explanation. And as long as the wreckage remains undiscovered, the questions will continue. What really happened in those final moments? What unseen forces were at play? Will we ever know the truth? Or will MH370 remain an eternal mystery, lost forever in the silent depths of the sea? The Case of D.B. Cooper. On the cold afternoon of November 24, 1971, an unassuming man walked into the Portland International Airport carrying a black briefcase. He bought a one-way ticket to Seattle under the name Dan Cooper, later misreported by the media as D.B. Cooper. Clad in a business suit with a black tie, he appeared like any ordinary traveler. But what transpired next would go down as one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. As the Boeing 727 took off, the man, seated in 18C, quietly passed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. At first, she slipped it into her pocket, assuming it was just another passenger flirting with her. But then, Cooper leaned toward her and whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The note, never recovered, allegedly stated that he had explosives and demanded $200,000 in cash for parachutes and a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane upon landing in Seattle. Schaffner, stunned but composed, asked to see the bomb. Cooper opened his briefcase just enough for her to glimpse red cylindrical objects and wires. She relayed the hijacker's demands to the cockpit, setting off a chain of events that would baffle investigators for decades. The crew informed air traffic control, who then contacted the FBI. The airline agreed to comply, believing cooperation was the best chance of ensuring passenger safety. Meanwhile, Cooper remained eerily calm, sipping a bourbon and soda as the plane circled to allow authorities time to gather the ransom and parachutes. After roughly 2 hours, Flight 305 landed at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Cooper let all 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants disembark, keeping the pilots and 1 remaining flight attendant, Tina Mucklow, on board. The ransom money and parachutes were delivered as requested. Then, in an unexpected twist, Cooper ordered the plane to take off again, this time directing the pilots to fly toward Mexico City at a low altitude of 10,000 feet and with the rear stairway deployed. His instructions were precise, suggesting he had significant aviation knowledge. At 8:13 p.m., somewhere over the dense forests of southwestern Washington, Cooper did the unthinkable. He parachuted out of the plane into the night, vanishing without a trace. What followed was one of the largest manhunts in FBI history. Agents scoured the suspected jump area, a rugged terrain filled with towering trees, rivers, and freezing temperatures. Despite an exhaustive search, no trace of Cooper was found. No parachute, no briefcase, no body. The only evidence of his escape was the air stair mechanism, which had clearly been activated mid-flight. The hijacker had seemingly disappeared into thin air, sparking endless theories about his fate. How could a man, carrying such a large sum of money and wearing a suit and loafers, survive such a daring escape in rough wilderness? Did he succumb to the elements, or did he successfully vanish into a new life? The FBI meticulously examined the ransom money, which had been handed over in sequentially numbered $20 bills. Years passed with no sign of the cash entering circulation, deepening the mystery. Then, in 1980, an astonishing discovery reignited public fascination with the case. A young boy named Brian Ingram, vacationing with his family along the Columbia River near Tennebar, found a decaying bundle of $20 bills buried in the sand. When analyzed, the serial numbers confirmed they were part of the ransom money given to Cooper. But this discovery only raised more questions. How did the money end up buried there? Did Cooper himself place it, or was it carried by the river? If Cooper had died in the jump, why hadn't his remains or any other money been found? One of the most perplexing aspects of the case is Cooper's knowledge and preparation. He seemed to understand aviation intricately, choosing a Boeing 727-100, one of the few aircraft with an aft staircase that could be deployed in flight. His request for 4 parachutes ensured authorities couldn't sabotage them, as they feared he might force hostages to jump with him. Furthermore, his insistence on flying at a low altitude and slow speed suggested he knew how to execute a parachute jump from such an aircraft. Some experts believe Cooper was a former military paratrooper, possibly someone with experience in special operations. However, FBI investigations into military records yielded no definitive matches. Over the years, numerous suspects have emerged, each with compelling yet unproven connections to the crime. One of the most famous was Richard Floyd McCoy, a Vietnam veteran and experienced skydiver who hijacked a plane in a strikingly similar fashion in 1972. He used a handwritten note, demanded ransom money, and parachuted out mid-flight. However, McCoy was later arrested and denied any involvement in the Cooper case. Some believe he was the same man, refining his technique, while others argue that Cooper would not have risked committing the same crime twice. McCoy was later killed in a shootout with the FBI after escaping prison, taking any secrets with him. Another potential suspect was Kenneth Christensen, a former Northwest Airlines employee who bore a resemblance to Cooper and had a background in aviation. His brother came forward years later, convinced Kenneth had confessed in a cryptic manner before his death. However, no concrete evidence linked him to the crime. Another well-known theory revolves around Robert Rackstraw, a former military pilot with a history of deception and criminal activity. Some believe he possessed the skills necessary for the hijacking, but Rackstraw repeatedly denied involvement, and no definitive proof ever emerged. Despite an extensive investigation spanning nearly 5 decades, the case remained open until 2016, when the FBI officially closed its file. They acknowledged that, despite thousands of leads, no suspect could be definitively linked to Cooper. Yet, amateur sleuths, conspiracy theorists, and retired investigators continue to probe the mystery, believing that the truth still lies hidden somewhere. Some speculate that Cooper perished that night, unable to survive the harsh conditions of the Pacific Northwest wilderness. Others argue that he executed the perfect crime, disappearing into obscurity with his fortune. The mystery of D.B. Cooper endures not only because of the sheer audacity of the crime, but also because it represents the ultimate escape. A lone man, armed only with intelligence and confidence, managed to outmaneuver law enforcement and vanish without a trace. Unlike other infamous criminals, Cooper harmed no one, making him a sort of folk hero in popular culture. His story has inspired books, documentaries, movies, and endless speculation, ensuring that his legend remains alive even as the trail grows colder. What truly happened that night over Washington state? Was Cooper a meticulous mastermind who planned his escape down to the last detail, or was he a reckless daredevil who met his demise in the wilderness? Did he start a new life under a different identity, spending his fortune carefully to avoid detection? Or does his body still lie hidden somewhere in the vast, unforgiving landscape, waiting to be discovered? Even with advancements in forensic science and modern technology, the Cooper case remains one of the greatest mysteries in American history. Every few years, new theories emerge, and fresh clues are analyzed, yet the answers remain just out of reach. Perhaps Cooper himself, if he survived, lived out the rest of his days quietly, watching as the world speculated about his fate. Or perhaps he met a more tragic end, his name and crime fading into legend. Whatever the truth may be, the enigma of D.B. Cooper continues to captivate the imagination, ensuring that his name will never be forgotten. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. In the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains, 9 experienced hikers embarked on a journey that would end in one of the most perplexing mysteries in modern history. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, named after the group's leader Igor Dyatlov, is a case so bizarre that it continues to baffle researchers, scientists, and conspiracy theorists decades after it occurred. What began as an adventurous trek into the snowy mountains turned into an inexplicable tragedy that left 9 people dead under circumstances that defy logic and reason. The hikers, all young students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, had set out on what was supposed to be a challenging but achievable expedition. They were skilled mountaineers, familiar with the harsh conditions of the Siberian wilderness. Their goal was to reach Otorten Mountain, a remote and isolated peak deep in the Ural Range. However, they never made it to their destination. When the group failed to return by their scheduled date, a search party was sent out to find them. What rescuers discovered was a scene so disturbing and unusual that it sparked endless speculation and controversy. The hiker's tent was found abandoned and strangely cut open from the inside, as if they had frantically escaped in the middle of the night. Their belongings, including warm clothing, boots, and food, were left behind, suggesting that they had fled in a hurry despite the freezing temperatures. Following the trail of footprints in the snow, searchers found the first bodies about a mile away from the campsite. 2 of the hikers were discovered near the remnants of a small fire, wearing only their undergarments. Their hands and feet were severely frostbitten, and their bodies showed signs of struggle, but there were no immediate indications of what had caused their deaths. Further up the slope, 3 more bodies were found, including that of Igor Dyatlov himself. The positioning of their corpses suggested they had been trying to return to the tent but had succumbed to the brutal cold. Hypothermia seemed like the most logical explanation, but the real mystery began when the remaining 4 hikers were discovered 2 months later in a ravine deeper into the forest. Unlike the first victims, these bodies bore horrifying injuries. 1 hiker had a crushed skull, 2 had broken ribs, and another was missing her tongue and eyes. The sheer force required to cause such internal damage was likened to a car crash, yet no external wounds were present, ruling out an attack by an animal or human. Even more puzzling, traces of radiation were found on some of their clothing, leading to speculation about a possible nuclear accident or secret military testing in the area. The Soviet authorities conducted an official investigation, but their final report only deepened the mystery. They concluded that the hikers had died due to a compelling natural force, without specifying what that force was. With no clear answers, rumors and theories began to circulate, each more bizarre than the last. Some believed the hikers had stumbled upon a secret military experiment, possibly involving radiation or weapons testing. Others speculated about infrasound, a low-frequency sound wave that can cause panic and disorientation. There were even suggestions of extraterrestrial involvement, fueled by reports of strange orange lights seen in the sky around the time of the hikers' deaths. One of the most unsettling aspects of the case was the sheer level of fear the group seemed to have experienced. What could have caused 9 experienced mountaineers to flee their tent barefoot into the freezing night? The cuts on the tent from the inside suggested that whatever had frightened them, they saw no other option but to escape immediately, abandoning all their survival gear. Some theorists proposed that an avalanche may have been the culprit, but there was no evidence of a major snow slide in the area, and the tent was still standing. Others suggest katabatic winds, a rare but powerful weather phenomenon that could have created an overwhelming sense of dread and forced them into irrational behavior. Another chilling theory involves indigenous Mansi tribesmen who were known to inhabit the region. Some speculated that the hikers had unknowingly trespassed on sacred land and were attacked as a result. However, no evidence of external human involvement was ever found, and the Mansi people were known to be peaceful. A more outlandish theory suggests that the group encountered a yeti or some other unknown creature and fled in terror. The missing tongue and eyes of one victim only added fuel to such theories, though no conclusive proof has ever emerged. Decades later, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in history. The Russian government reopened the case in 2019, but their new findings once again pointed to natural causes. Specifically, a rare type of slab avalanche that could have caused panic and injuries among the hikers. Yet, many remain unconvinced by this explanation, believing that too many unanswered questions remain. The case has inspired books, documentaries, and movies, with countless theories attempting to explain what really happened on that fateful night. What is perhaps most haunting about the Dyatlov Pass incident is that no single theory fully explains every aspect of the mystery. If it was simply an avalanche, why did the hikers leave their tent in such a state of panic? And why were some of them found with fatal internal injuries while others died from exposure? If it was a military experiment gone wrong, why were no official records ever uncovered? If radiation was involved, why was it only found on certain articles of clothing? For the families of the victims, the lack of closure has been the most painful aspect of all. Their loved ones set out on a journey full of excitement and adventure, only to meet an end that defies logic. The mystery of Dyatlov Pass continues to captivate and disturb those who hear it, a tragic tale of young explorers whose fate may never truly be understood. The cold winds still howl through the mountains, whispering secrets that remain locked within the snow, waiting for an answer that may never come. The Taos Hum Mystery. In the small, quiet town of Taos, New Mexico, a peculiar and persistent sound has baffled residents and scientists alike for decades. Known simply as the Taos Hum, this mysterious low-frequency noise is heard by only a fraction of the population, yet its presence has sparked endless debate, scientific investigations, and wild speculation. It is not just a sound. It is an enigma, a ghostly auditory phenomenon that has defied explanation. The hum is described as a distant, droning noise, similar to the sound of an idling diesel engine or a low electrical buzz. It is persistent, sometimes growing louder at night, and is often more noticeable indoors than outdoors. While some hearers report that the hum is a mild nuisance, others experience significant distress, with symptoms including headaches, dizziness, insomnia, and even psychological stress. The mystery deepens when one considers that not everyone hears the hum. In any given population, only a small percentage, typically around 2 to 10%, report being affected. This selectivity raises several perplexing questions. Is the sound real, or is it an auditory hallucination? Is it an environmental phenomenon, or something more complex, buried in the neurological or psychological functions of those who hear it? Efforts to pinpoint the source of the Taos Hum have led to a wide array of hypotheses, ranging from natural geological processes to human-made disturbances. One of the most widely considered theories suggests that the hum is caused by low-frequency electromagnetic waves, possibly emitted by power lines, communication towers, or military installations. Given that the hum is often reported in rural areas with little industry, this theory is met with skepticism. However, some researchers propose that very low-frequency VLF radio waves used in submarine communications could be responsible. These waves travel vast distances through the atmosphere and oceans, and it is possible that some individuals are uniquely sensitive to them. Still, no direct correlation has been found between the locations of VLF signals and reports of the hum. Another hypothesis suggests that the hum originates from geological activity, such as the movement of underground water or shifting tectonic plates. Some researchers propose that the Earth's crust generates a natural resonance, which certain individuals perceive as a low-frequency vibration. This idea is supported by the fact that many reported hums occur in regions with known geological activity. However, if this were the case, one would expect the hum to be more widespread, rather than concentrated in select locations. A more biological explanation has also been considered. Some scientists believe that the hum is not an external sound at all, but rather a phenomenon originating from within the hearer's own bodies. This could include spontaneous otoacoustic emissions, sounds produced by the inner ear that are typically inaudible to most people. Additionally, some have speculated that the hum is a form of tinnitus, a condition characterized by persistent ringing or buzzing in the ears. However, the distinguishing feature of the Taos hum is that multiple people in the same location report hearing the same sound, often describing it in identical terms. Tinnitus, on the other hand, is usually subjective and varies from person to person. Perhaps the most intriguing possibility is that the Taos hum is a product of human perception, rather than an actual sound wave. Some researchers have suggested that the hum could be the result of a neurological phenomenon in which the brain misinterprets sensory information. Certain individuals may possess an unusual sensitivity to low-frequency vibrations, leading them to hear a sound that others do not perceive. This theory is supported by cases in which the hum has been linked to stress, fatigue, and even specific brainwave activity. If the brain is, in essence, generating the hum, it would explain why efforts to record it with microphones have largely failed. Still, this does not answer the question of why certain locations, such as Taos, appear to be hot spots for the phenomenon. Over the years, various attempts have been made to scientifically analyze the Taos hum. In the 1990s, a team of researchers from the University of New Mexico conducted an extensive study, interviewing affected individuals, taking sound measurements, and testing environmental factors. Despite their efforts, they were unable to identify a definitive source. They did, however, confirm that those who reported hearing the hum were not experiencing auditory hallucinations. Their descriptions were consistent, and some even demonstrated physiological responses when the hum was present. This finding only added to the mystery. If the hum was not an illusion, then what was it? Beyond the scientific explanations, the Taos hum has also inspired a number of more speculative theories. Some believe it is linked to secret government projects such as mind control experiments, underground military bases, or advanced surveillance technologies. Conspiracy theorists argue that the hum could be a byproduct of high-tech weaponry or classified energy research. The idea that the government is involved is fueled by reports that similar hums have been detected near known military installations. While no evidence supports these claims, they persist, as do stories of people who claim to have escaped the hum by moving to remote locations, only to hear it again. Another popular theory ties the hum to extraterrestrial activity. Some UFO enthusiasts suggest that the sound is caused by alien technology, either from hidden bases beneath the Earth or spacecraft hovering just beyond human perception. While this idea is dismissed by mainstream science, it reflects the depth of the mystery. When no rational explanation can be found, the imagination fills in the gaps. The Taos hum is not the only hum phenomenon reported around the world. Similar cases have been documented in the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and the United States. Some of the most well-known include the Bristol hum in England, the Kokomo hum in Indiana, and the Windsor hum in Canada. These hums share striking similarities: low frequency, persistent droning sounds that only a fraction of the population can hear. Despite decades of research, none have been conclusively explained. The impact of the hum on those who hear it cannot be understated. While some describe it as a minor annoyance, others claim it has profoundly affected their lives. People have reported sleep disturbances, heightened anxiety, and even depression as a result of the constant noise. Some have gone to extreme lengths to escape it, relocating to different cities or living in specially constructed soundproof rooms. Others have sought medical treatment, only to be told that nothing is physically wrong with them. The psychological toll of the hum raises important questions about the nature of perception. Does experiencing something that others cannot make it any less real? For those who hear the Taos hum, the answer is clear. It is real, it is persistent, and it is deeply unsettling. The mystery of the Taos hum remains unsolved. Scientific studies have failed to provide a definitive explanation, and anecdotal reports continue to emerge from people all over the world who hear similar sounds. Whether the hum is caused by an environmental factor, a biological phenomenon, or something entirely beyond our understanding, it serves as a reminder of the many mysteries that still exist in our modern world. In an era where technology allows us to explore the deepest oceans and map the farthest reaches of space, we are still confronted with enigmas that defy explanation. Perhaps the answer to the Taos Hum lies just beyond the limits of our current knowledge. Until then, it remains an enduring puzzle, one that continues to hum quietly in the background of our reality, waiting to be understood. The Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is one of the most perplexing and mysterious books ever discovered. Written in an unknown script and filled with bizarre illustrations of unidentified plants, astronomical charts, and human figures engaged in strange activities, this ancient book has baffled scholars, cryptographers, and historians for over a century. Named after Wilfred Voynich, a Polish book dealer who acquired it in 1912, the manuscript has defied every attempt at decryption. Despite extensive linguistic analysis, code-breaking efforts, and the application of modern artificial intelligence, no one has successfully deciphered its language or meaning. The book is estimated to have been written in the early 15th century, with carbon dating placing its parchment between 1404 and 1438. However, its origins, authorship, and purpose remain unknown. The manuscript consists of around 240 vellum pages, though some are missing, and is adorned with intricate illustrations that have led to various theories about its contents. Some believe it to be an alchemical treatise, a medical text, or even an elaborate hoax. Others have suggested it may be the work of an advanced civilization or an unknown language lost to history. One of the most striking aspects of the Voynich manuscript is its peculiar script. The text is written in a flowing, elegant style with unique characters that do not match any known language, ancient or modern. Linguists and cryptographers have analyzed the text for patterns, frequency of letters, and possible linguistic structures, but the results have been inconclusive. Some have proposed that it may be a constructed language, an encrypted code, or even meaningless gibberish. However, statistical analysis of the text suggests that it follows linguistic rules, with word structures and patterns resembling natural languages. This has led some to believe that the manuscript contains real information, encoded in a way that has yet to be deciphered. Over the years, many have attempted to unlock its secrets, including renowned codebreakers from World War II, who were unable to make sense of the text despite their expertise in cracking complex ciphers. The illustrations within the Voynich manuscript add another layer of mystery. The book is divided into several sections, each featuring a different set of strange drawings. The botanical section contains depictions of plants that do not correspond to any known species, leading some to speculate that they are either imaginary or represent lost knowledge of extinct flora. The astronomical section includes circular diagrams resembling star charts, zodiac symbols, and celestial objects, suggesting a possible connection to astrology or an unknown cosmological system. The biological section is particularly bizarre, featuring human figures, mostly female, immersed in interconnected tubes and pools of liquid, as if depicting some kind of mystical or medical process. Some believe these images could represent an early form of hydrotherapy, alchemical transformation, or a symbolic depiction of bodily processes. The pharmaceutical section includes jars and plant parts that resemble medieval apothecary guides, further fueling theories that the manuscript may have been a medical or herbal text. However, without understanding the text itself, these interpretations remain speculative. One theory posits that the manuscript was the work of a medieval alchemist or physician who encoded their knowledge in a secret language to protect their discoveries from rivals or the church. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, alchemists often concealed their writings in cryptic symbols and obscure languages to safeguard their knowledge. Some have suggested that the Voynich manuscript could be a medical treatise containing herbal remedies, healing practices, or alchemical recipes that were considered highly valuable or even dangerous at the time. This theory is supported by the presence of plant drawings, pharmaceutical diagrams, and anatomical figures, which align with medical texts from that era. However, no other medical manuscripts have been found with a comparable script, making it difficult to validate this hypothesis. Another possibility is that the manuscript was an elaborate hoax, created either in the 15th century or later as a means of deception. Some scholars have speculated that it might have been crafted by an individual seeking to sell it as an ancient and valuable document, fooling collectors and scholars into believing it contained hidden wisdom. If this were the case, it would be one of the most sophisticated hoaxes in history, requiring immense effort to create a consistent, rule-based language and hundreds of pages of meticulously crafted text and illustrations. The sheer complexity of the manuscript, along with its statistical resemblance to natural language, makes this theory less likely but not impossible. Some researchers argue that if it were a hoax, the author would have likely included at least some recognizable content to make it seem credible, yet the manuscript remains completely indecipherable. In recent years, advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning have been applied to the study of the Voynich Manuscript. Some researchers have claimed to identify linguistic patterns suggesting a connection to ancient or obscure languages, such as Hebrew, Latin, or even a form of medieval shorthand. In 2018, a Canadian researcher claimed to have partially decoded the text using AI, proposing that it was written in an extinct Romance language and that some words could be translated. However, these claims have been met with skepticism, as no full translation has been produced, and no consensus has been reached among scholars. The application of AI has provided new insights but has not yet unlocked the full meaning of the manuscript. Adding to the mystery, the Voynich Manuscript has an unusual provenance. It is believed to have once belonged to Emperor Rudolph II of the Holy Roman Empire, who was known for his fascination with alchemy, the occult, and hidden knowledge. It later passed through the hands of various scholars and collectors before being acquired by Wilfrid Voynich, who brought it to public attention. Despite extensive efforts to trace its origins, no definitive information has emerged about its author or purpose. Some have speculated that it may have been the work of a secret society, an unknown scholar, or even an individual suffering from a rare linguistic or cognitive condition that led them to create an entirely new writing system. The lack of any references to the manuscript in historical texts adds to its enigma, as one would expect such a unique document to have been mentioned in some historical record. Theories about the Voynich manuscript range from the plausible to the wildly speculative. Some believe it contains lost knowledge from an advanced civilization, possibly remnants of an ancient and forgotten culture that once possessed knowledge far beyond its time. Others have suggested extraterrestrial involvement, proposing that the book could be a message from an alien intelligence, written in a language unknown to humanity. While these ideas are largely dismissed by mainstream scholars, they reflect the profound sense of mystery that surrounds the manuscript. The idea that it may hold hidden wisdom, forbidden knowledge, or even a key to understanding the universe continues to captivate those who study it. Despite countless attempts to unravel its secrets, the Voynich Manuscript remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the literary and historical world. Each new theory, breakthrough, or technological advancement brings fresh hope that one day, its meaning will be revealed. Whether it is a genuine document containing forgotten knowledge, a masterful work of encryption, or an elaborate hoax, its very existence challenges our understanding of language, history, and human creativity. The search for answers continues, and as long as the manuscript remains undeciphered, it will continue to inspire wonder, speculation, and a relentless quest for the truth. The Antikythera Mechanism. The Antikythera Mechanism is one of the most fascinating and mysterious discoveries in the history of archaeology. Found in 1901 among the wreckage of an ancient Greek ship near the island of Antikythera, this intricate device has puzzled scientists, historians, and engineers for over a century. At first glance, the corroded fragments of gears and dials seemed out of place for an artifact dating back to around 100 BCE. However, as researchers studied the mechanism, they realized that it was far more than just a simple clock or navigational tool. It was an advanced analog computer designed to predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades in advance. This level of technological sophistication was thought to be centuries ahead of its time, raising profound questions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The mechanism, housed in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens, remains a source of endless speculation and study as modern science attempts to unravel its secrets. When the wreckage was first discovered by sponge divers off the coast of Antikythera, the artifacts recovered from the site included statues, pottery, coins, and other relics of the ancient world. Among these was a lump of corroded bronze and wood, which at first seemed unremarkable. It wasn't until years later that researchers noticed the presence of finely crafted gears within the corroded mass. As they began to examine it further, they found inscriptions and evidence of a complex mechanical structure. X-ray analysis and 3D imaging eventually revealed that the device contained at least 30 interlocking gears, each precisely cut to fit together in a way that suggested advanced engineering knowledge. The mechanism's complexity stunned historians, as it challenged the prevailing notion that mechanical technology of this level did not exist in the ancient world. The Antikythera Mechanism functioned as a sophisticated astronomical calculator. By turning a hand crank, users could track the movements of celestial bodies, predict solar and lunar eclipses, and even account for the irregular motion of the moon due to its elliptical orbit. The front of the device displayed a large dial representing the zodiac and the calendar, while the back contained intricate spirals that charted the cycles of the moon and planets. It could predict the positions of the sun and moon with remarkable accuracy, and some researchers believe it also tracked the movements of the known planets of the time: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. This level of precision suggests that the Greeks had an understanding of astronomical mechanics far beyond what was previously assumed. One of the most intriguing aspects of the mechanism is its ability to account for the Metonic cycle, a 19-year period that aligns the solar year with the lunar year. This cycle was crucial for ancient calendar making and was used in religious and civic planning. The mechanism also included a dial that predicted the timing of the Olympic Games, indicating its importance in Greek society beyond just astronomy. The device was not simply a scientific tool, but a multifunctional instrument that integrated astronomical knowledge with cultural and religious significance. Some scholars have suggested that it was used for educational purposes, perhaps as a teaching tool to explain celestial mechanics to students or scholars. Others believe it may have had a role in navigation, although there is little evidence to suggest it was used aboard ships. The question of who built the Antikythera mechanism remains a mystery. Some theories attribute its creation to the famous Greek mathematician and inventor Archimedes, who lived in the 3rd century BCE and was known for his work in mechanics and engineering. Others suggest that it was the product of a workshop in Rhodes, an island known for its advancements in astronomy and mechanical engineering. The inscriptions on the mechanism, written in Koine Greek, indicate that it was created in the Hellenistic world, but beyond that, its origins are unclear. If devices like the Antikythera mechanism were more common in the ancient world, it raises the question of why no other examples have survived. Were these devices lost to history, or were they deliberately hidden or destroyed? The discovery of the Antikythera mechanism has forced historians to reconsider the technological achievements of the ancient Greeks. It suggests that they possessed not only theoretical knowledge of astronomy and mathematics, but also the practical skill to construct intricate mechanical devices. This contradicts the traditional view that complex geared mechanisms did not appear until the Middle Ages, when European clockmakers began developing sophisticated timepieces. The mechanism's design bears a striking resemblance to later astronomical clocks, leading some to speculate that knowledge of such devices may have been passed down through secret traditions or lost manuscripts. However, there is no direct evidence linking the Antikythera mechanism to medieval or Renaissance engineering. Instead, it seems to represent a unique and isolated peak of ancient Greek ingenuity. Modern efforts to reconstruct the mechanism have provided valuable insights into its function and craftsmanship. Researchers have used advanced imaging techniques, including CT scans, to peer inside the corroded fragments and map out the positions of the gears. These studies have confirmed that the device was incredibly precise, with each gear carefully calibrated to reflect astronomical cycles. Some experts have even attempted to build working replicas using only the materials and tools available in ancient Greece. These reconstructions demonstrate that the mechanism was not merely a theoretical invention, but a fully functional machine capable of making accurate astronomical predictions. However, the question remains, how did the ancient Greeks develop such advanced technology, and why does there seem to be no record of its continued use? One possibility is that the Antikythera Mechanism represents the pinnacle of a lost tradition of Greek engineering. If similar devices once existed, they may have been destroyed over time, either through natural decay or deliberate suppression. The fall of the Greek and Roman civilizations led to significant losses in scientific and technological knowledge, and it is possible that the secrets of the Antikythera Mechanism were among those lost. Alternatively, the device may have been an experimental or one-of-a-kind creation, built for a specific purpose and never widely replicated. If this is the case, then its discovery is even more extraordinary, as it offers a rare glimpse into a forgotten chapter of human ingenuity. The implications of the Antikythera Mechanism extend beyond ancient history. It challenges our assumptions about the progress of technology and raises questions about other potential scientific advancements that may have been lost to time. If the ancient Greeks were capable of creating such a sophisticated device, what else might they have developed that we have yet to discover? Some researchers believe that the history of human innovation is not a simple linear progression, but rather a series of peaks and declines, with knowledge being gained, lost, and rediscovered over the centuries. The Antikythera Mechanism serves as a reminder that history is full of surprises and that our understanding of the past is always evolving. Despite over a century of study, many aspects of the Antikythera Mechanism remain unknown. How widespread was the use of such devices? Were they part of a larger tradition of Greek mechanical engineering? Did they influence later technological developments? Or were they a dead end in the history of invention? Ongoing research continues to uncover new details about the mechanism, but many mysteries remain unsolved. The device stands as a testament to the ingenuity of the ancient world and serves as a symbol of the hidden depths of human knowledge. As long as the mechanism continues to challenge our understanding, it will remain one of history's greatest and most intriguing enigmas. The mysterious Moai statues of Easter Island. Deep in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean lies one of the most isolated inhabited islands on Earth, Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, as it is known by the indigenous people. This small, remote island, located over 2,000 miles from the nearest continental landmass, is home to one of the world's greatest archaeological enigmas, the Moai statues. These massive, monolithic figures, carved from volcanic rock, stand as silent sentinels over the rugged landscape, their watchful eyes seemingly gazing towards the horizon. The mystery surrounding the Moai is not just about their origins, but also about their purpose, the civilization that built them, and the means by which these colossal structures were transported across the island. Despite extensive research, the secrets of these statues remain unsolved, leaving historians, archaeologists, and scientists fascinated and perplexed in equal measure. The first European contact with Easter Island occurred in 1722, when Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen stumbled upon the island on Easter Sunday, giving it its name. What he and his crew found was an island covered with towering stone figures, some standing tall while others lay toppled or buried in the earth. The people of the island, though few in number, seemed to be living in extreme hardship, with scarce resources and little sign of advanced civilization. Yet, the presence of the Moai suggested that the island had once been home to a highly organized society capable of incredible feats of engineering and artistry. How did these people, isolated from the rest of the world and with limited natural resources, manage to carve, transport, and erect nearly 1,000 massive statues? The answer to this question has remained elusive, sparking numerous theories over the centuries. Each Moai statue is a unique work of art, yet they share common features: elongated heads, broad noses, strong chins, and deep-set eyes. The statues vary in height, with some reaching up to 33 feet and weighing over 80 tons. Most were carved from compressed volcanic ash from the Reno Ruraku quarry, where hundreds of unfinished Moai still remain, as if their construction was suddenly abandoned. One of the most perplexing aspects of these statues is their transportation. With no evidence of wheels, large domesticated animals, or advanced machinery, the question arises: how did the ancient Rapa Nui people move these enormous figures from the quarry to various sites around the island, some of which were several miles away? One popular theory suggests that the statues were transported using wooden sledges and rollers made from tree trunks. However, this theory presents a paradox. Easter Island, at the time of European discovery, had almost no trees. If the islanders had used trees to move the Moai, what happened to the forests? Some researchers believe that deforestation was a result of overuse of wood for statue transportation, leading to an ecological collapse that contributed to the decline of Rapa Nui civilization. Others argue that rats, introduced by Polynesian settlers, may have played a significant role in the destruction of the island's palm trees by eating the seeds, preventing regrowth. The exact cause of the deforestation remains debated, adding another layer of mystery to the story of the Moai. A more recent and widely accepted theory proposes that the Moai were walked to their final locations using a system of ropes and coordinated human effort. Experiments conducted by researchers have demonstrated that with enough manpower, a statue can be made to wobble forward in an upright position, much like a refrigerator being shifted across a floor. This idea aligns with oral traditions of the Rapa Nui people, who describe the statues as having walked to their platforms, known as ahu. If this theory is correct, it would mean that the ancient islanders possessed an advanced understanding of physics and teamwork, allowing them to move these massive structures without modern tools. Beyond the transportation mystery, the purpose of the Moai also remains uncertain. It is widely believed that they were constructed to honor important ancestors and chieftains, serving as a link between the living and the spiritual world. Many of the statues originally had large cylindrical stone hats, called pukeo, made from a different type of red volcanic rock. The significance of these hats is unclear, but some researchers suggest they may have represented headdresses worn by tribal leaders or had religious symbolism. Additionally, some Moai were adorned with coral eyes, giving them a more lifelike appearance. The discovery of these eyes led to the theory that the statues were meant to embody the spirits of revered leaders, watching over and protecting the island's inhabitants. However, the mystery deepens when considering the fate of the Moai. When early explorers arrived, many of the statues had been toppled, some broken into pieces. What caused this destruction? Some historians believe that internal conflicts among the island's clans led to the deliberate toppling of the Moai as rival groups sought to undermine each other's spiritual power. Another theory is that natural disasters, such as earthquakes or tsunamis, may have played a role in the collapse of some statues. The exact cause remains unknown, but the fallen Moai stand as silent witnesses to a turbulent period in Rapa Nui's history. Adding to the enigma is the presence of mysterious petroglyphs and carvings found throughout the island, including the depiction of a Birdman figure. This image is associated with a religious ceremony known as the Birdman Competition, which took place in the later years of Rapa Nui civilization. As the traditional society declined, likely due to resource depletion and social unrest, the focus of worship shifted from the Moai to a new belief system centered around a god named Makemake. The Birdman ritual involved a dangerous race to retrieve the first egg laid by a specific seabird on a nearby islet, with the winner gaining prestige and leadership privileges. This drastic cultural shift raises questions about how and why the island society transformed so dramatically. Modern scientific studies have provided fascinating insights into the construction and movement of the Moai, but many mysteries remain unsolved. For instance, recent DNA analysis has revealed that the Rapa Nui people share genetic markers with both Polynesians and South Americans, suggesting possible contact between these distant civilizations long before European arrival. How did such an isolated population develop the skills necessary to create such monumental statues? And what external influences, if any, played a role in their cultural development? The Moai statues of Easter Island stand as a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of the Rapa Nui people. Yet, they also serve as a haunting reminder of the potential consequences of environmental mismanagement and societal collapse. The island's history is a cautionary tale of how a once thriving civilization, capable of astonishing achievements, may have brought about its own downfall through overexploitation of resources. Some scholars argue that Easter Island is a microcosm of our own planet, a warning of what could happen if humanity fails to manage its resources wisely. Despite centuries of study, the Moai continue to captivate researchers and visitors alike, their enigmatic presence evoking a sense of wonder and curiosity. Every year, thousands of tourists travel to Easter Island to witness these remarkable statues, standing as silent guardians of a lost world. Yet, the true story of the Moai remains just out of reach, hidden beneath layers of history, myth, and speculation. Will we ever fully understand the secrets of Easter Island and its mysterious statues? Perhaps the answers lie buried beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered. Or perhaps, like many of history's greatest enigmas, the Moai will forever remain an unsolved puzzle, whispering their ancient secrets only to those who dare to listen. The pyramids and lost technologies. The pyramids of Egypt, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, stand as one of the most profound mysteries of human civilization. Towering over the desert landscape, these massive stone structures were built thousands of years ago, yet their construction remains a subject of heated debate. Historians, engineers, and scientists have long sought to understand how an ancient society, with no access to modern machinery, was able to transport, carve, and assemble millions of massive stone blocks with near-perfect precision. While mainstream archaeology attributes the pyramids to the ingenuity and labor of the ancient Egyptians, alternative theories suggest the involvement of lost technologies, methods, and tools that have been forgotten or erased from history. Some even speculate that extraterrestrial intervention or advanced knowledge far beyond what we assume of ancient civilizations played a role in their construction. Regardless of the explanation, the pyramids continue to inspire awe and curiosity, raising more questions than answers about the capabilities of early humans and the secrets buried beneath the sands of time. The scale and precision of the Great Pyramid of Giza are staggering. Built over 4,500 years ago, the structure originally stood at 146.6 meters, 481 feet, tall, and was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years. It consists of an estimated 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 and 15 tons. The precision with which these blocks were cut and arranged is astonishing. Modern laser measurements have revealed that the pyramid's base is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, and the deviation from a perfect square is less than a fraction of a degree. Even more puzzling is the internal layout, with corridors and chambers built with such accuracy that some joints between the stones are less than a millimeter wide. Given that the ancient Egyptians lacked steel tools or wheeled vehicles, how were these massive stones cut, transported, and assembled with such mathematical precision? The most widely accepted theory among Egyptologists is that the pyramid was built using a vast workforce of skilled laborers over a period of approximately 20 years. According to historical records and archaeological findings, workers likely used copper chisels to cut limestone from nearby quarries and transported the blocks on sleds dragged over a lubricated surface of wet sand. However, many skeptics argue that this explanation is insufficient to account for the precision and scale of the construction. Copper tools, which are relatively soft, would have struggled to cut through the granite blocks used in the pyramid's interior, including the massive slabs forming the king's chamber. The logistics of moving and placing these enormous stones with such accuracy remain unexplained, even with modern engineering knowledge. One alternative theory suggests that the ancient Egyptians possessed advanced knowledge of material science, potentially using an early form of concrete to cast the blocks in place rather than carving and transporting them. This idea, proposed by French materials scientist Joseph Davidovits, suggests that the pyramid builders used a type of limestone-based geopolymer cement that was poured and hardened into massive blocks. If true, this would radically change our understanding of ancient construction techniques. However, while some chemical analyses have found evidence of unusual compositions in pyramid stones, mainstream archaeology has not widely accepted this hypothesis. Another compelling mystery surrounding the pyramids is their potential connection to lost ancient knowledge, particularly in the fields of mathematics and astronomy. The Great Pyramid's dimensions encode mathematical and geometric principles that seem far beyond what we would expect from a civilization of that time. The ratio of the pyramid's height to its base perimeter closely approximates the mathematical constant pi symbol, and its proportions also mirror the golden ratio, phi, which appears frequently in nature and classical architecture. Some researchers argue that this level of precision suggests a deeper understanding of mathematics than conventional history credits to the ancient Egyptians. Additionally, the pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with the 4 cardinal directions, a feat that would have required precise astronomical observations. How did the builders achieve such accuracy without telescopes or advanced measuring instruments? Some speculate that the pyramid served not only as a tomb but also as an astronomical observatory or a structure with a deeper scientific purpose. One of the most controversial theories regarding the pyramids suggests that ancient civilizations may have had access to lost technologies, either developed independently or inherited from an earlier, advanced civilization that predates known history. Some researchers point to evidence of ancient high-precision stone cutting in Egypt and other parts of the world, including Peru and Lebanon, where massive stone blocks appear to have been shaped with techniques that seem beyond the capabilities of the tools known to those societies. The famous scoop marks on some quarry walls suggest that material was removed with an unknown, highly efficient cutting method. Could the ancient Egyptians have used some form of ultrasonic or vibration-based technology to manipulate stone? While no direct evidence exists for such tools, the precision of ancient construction continues to puzzle experts. The pyramids have also been linked to theories of lost energy technology. Some researchers propose that the Great Pyramid was not merely a tomb but a power plant, designed to harness and transmit energy in ways we do not yet understand. The internal layout of the pyramid, with its narrow shafts, resonant chambers, and carefully placed materials, has led some to speculate that it was designed to channel or amplify natural energy fields. Nikola Tesla himself was fascinated by the pyramids and believed they might hold secrets related to wireless energy transmission. While these ideas remain speculative, they highlight the fact that we still do not fully understand the true purpose of these ancient structures. The mysteries surrounding the pyramids extend beyond their construction and purpose. The question of how and why pyramid building suddenly declined remains unanswered. After a golden age of pyramid construction during Egypt's Old Kingdom, the scale and precision of pyramids gradually diminished. Later pyramids, such as those from the Middle Kingdom, were built with inferior materials and construction techniques, and many collapsed over time. Why did the knowledge and techniques used to build the Great Pyramid not persist? Was it lost due to political turmoil, natural disasters, or a deliberate effort to conceal information? Some theorists suggest that the builders of the Great Pyramid may have been influenced by a much older civilization, one that predates recorded history and possessed knowledge that was eventually forgotten or hidden. Another enduring mystery is the true purpose of the pyramids. While Egyptologists maintain that they were primarily tombs for pharaohs, no mummies have ever been found inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. Unlike other Egyptian tombs, which contain elaborate inscriptions and decorations, the Great Pyramid's interior is almost completely devoid of hieroglyphs. This absence of inscriptions has led some to question whether the pyramid was truly intended as a burial site or if it served a different function entirely. Some speculate that it may have been a repository of ancient knowledge, a ceremonial temple, or even a structure designed to encode mathematical and astronomical information for future generations. The global significance of pyramidal structures adds another layer to the mystery. Pyramids are found not only in Egypt but also in cultures across the world, including Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica, China, and Indonesia. These structures, often built with incredible precision, suggest a shared understanding or transmission of architectural knowledge across ancient civilizations. How did societies separated by vast distances and thousands of years develop such similar architectural styles? Some researchers propose that pyramid building was inspired by a universal principle related to energy or sacred geometry, while others entertain the possibility of contact between ancient civilizations long before mainstream history acknowledges. Ultimately, the mystery of the pyramids and lost technologies remains one of the most fascinating puzzles of human history. Despite centuries of study, we are still left with more questions than answers. Were the ancient Egyptians simply more advanced than we give them credit for, or did they inherit knowledge from an earlier civilization? Could there be lost technologies or forgotten sciences that enabled them to achieve feats that modern engineers struggle to replicate? As new discoveries are made and technology advances, we may one day unlock the secrets hidden within the pyramids, revealing a deeper understanding of the past, and perhaps reshaping our view of human history itself. Until then, the Great Pyramid of Giza stands as a silent guardian of an ancient enigma, its secrets waiting to be uncovered by those who dare to seek the truth. The Great Attractor Mystery. Deep within the vast expanse of the universe lies one of the greatest cosmic enigmas known to humanity, an unseen, unfathomably massive force known as the Great Attractor. This gravitational anomaly, hidden behind the dense cluster of stars and cosmic dust in our Milky Way, is pulling entire galaxies, including our own, toward it at astonishing speeds. Yet, despite its immense influence, the true nature of the Great Attractor remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in astrophysics. What is this colossal force? Is it a supermassive cluster of galaxies, an unseen form of dark matter, or something even more profound that challenges our understanding of the cosmos? The journey to uncover the secrets of the Great Attractor is one filled with discovery, speculation, and the unsettling realization that we may never fully comprehend the vast and hidden forces shaping the universe. The Great Attractor was first discovered in the 1970s when astronomers noticed that our galaxy, along with hundreds of thousands of others, was moving toward a specific region of space at an incredible velocity of over 600 kilometers per second. This motion could not be explained by the known distribution of matter in the universe. Typically, galaxies move due to the expansion of the universe, but the Milky Way and its neighboring galaxies in the local group were behaving differently, as if caught in the gravitational pull of an unseen massive entity. Scientists soon realized that this strange gravitational anomaly was affecting an enormous portion of the observable universe. However, determining the exact source of this force was not easy, as it lay in a region of space known as the Zone of Avoidance, an area obscured by the bright, crowded stars of our own galaxy. To understand what was hidden in this mysterious region, astronomers relied on indirect methods, including radio and infrared observations, which allowed them to peer through the thick clouds of dust and gas that blocked their view. What they found was astonishing. The Great Attractor appeared to be an enormous gravitational anomaly located approximately 150 to 250 million light-years away from Earth. It was influencing the movement of entire galactic superclusters, including our own local group, the Virgo supercluster, and beyond. But what made this discovery even more perplexing was that the mass scientists could account for in that region was not nearly enough to explain the immense gravitational pull observed. One of the leading theories suggests that the Great Attractor is part of a much larger structure known as the Laniakea supercluster, a vast cosmic region containing over 100,000 galaxies bound together by gravity. Within this massive supercluster lies the Norma cluster, a dense collection of galaxies that could contribute significantly to the gravitational force of the Great Attractor. However, even with this discovery, the numbers still did not add up. The mass of the Norma cluster and surrounding galaxies was still insufficient to justify the immense pull exerted by the Great Attractor. This led to a more unsettling hypothesis that a significant portion of the mass responsible for this gravitational anomaly could be composed of an invisible form of matter known as dark matter. Dark matter is one of the most elusive substances in the universe. It does not emit, absorb, or reflect light, making it undetectable through traditional observational methods. Scientists only infer its existence based on the gravitational effects it exerts on visible matter. If a substantial amount of dark matter were concentrated in the region of the Great Attractor, it could help explain why galaxies are being drawn toward it with such force. However, despite decades of research, dark matter remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in physics, and its role in the Great Attractor only deepens the enigma. Another hypothesis is that the Great Attractor is not a singular object, but rather an illusion created by the combined gravitational effects of multiple superclusters beyond our observable reach. Some astronomers believe that the motion of galaxies toward the Great Attractor is actually the result of an even larger structure known as the Shapley supercluster. Located around 650 million light-years away, the Shapley supercluster contains some of the most massive galaxy clusters ever discovered. If its gravitational influence extends far enough, it could be the true cause of the motion attributed to the Great Attractor. This would mean that the Great Attractor is merely a waypoint in an even larger cosmic dance, with galaxies being drawn toward even greater masses beyond our current ability to observe. The implications of the Great Attractor's mystery go beyond just understanding cosmic motion. If it turns out that an enormous amount of dark matter or unknown forms of mass are concentrated in this region, it could revolutionize our understanding of gravity and the fundamental forces governing the universe. Some theorists even suggest that the Great Attractor could be a remnant of an ancient cosmic event, such as the collision of supermassive black holes or the remnants of a previous phase of the universe that left behind an immense gravitational imprint. Others speculate that it could be evidence of hidden dimensions or exotic physics that challenge our conventional models of space and time. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the Great Attractor mystery is the idea that we, as inhabitants of the Milky Way, are being drawn toward an unknown fate. Although the journey will take billions of years, the fact remains that our galaxy is being inexorably pulled toward a region we do not fully understand. Will we eventually collide with an enormous cosmic structure, altering the fate of our galaxy? Will we be absorbed into an even greater supercluster, forever reshaping the landscape of the cosmos? Or is it possible that our current understanding of gravity is incomplete, and the true forces at play are beyond our comprehension? Advancements in astronomical technology, including next-generation telescopes and space-based observatories, may eventually allow us to peer deeper into the zone of avoidance and uncover the true nature of the Great Attractor. The upcoming Vera C. Rubin Observatory, the James Webb Space Telescope, and radio telescopes scanning the universe at different wavelengths may finally provide the missing pieces of this cosmic puzzle. However, until then, the Great Attractor remains one of the most profound mysteries of our time, a silent but powerful force pulling us toward an unknown destiny in the vastness of space. The search for answers continues, but as of now, the Great Attractor serves as a humbling reminder of how much we have yet to learn about the universe. It represents the limits of human knowledge, a force that hints at something greater lurking in the cosmic shadows, waiting to be discovered. Whether it is a massive collection of galaxies, a dark matter concentration, or something entirely beyond our understanding, the Great Attractor stands as a symbol of the infinite unknown, a gravitational ghost pulling the Milky Way toward a future we have yet to comprehend. The disappearance of the Sodder children. On Christmas Eve in 1945, a tragedy struck the Sodder family that would become one of the most perplexing mysteries in American history. The Sodders, an Italian-American family living in Fayetteville, West Virginia, had 10 children and were well known in their community. That night, while most of the family slept, a devastating fire engulfed their home. George and Jenny Sodder, along with 4 of their children, managed to escape the flames. However, 5 of their children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were believed to have perished in the fire. What should have been a tragic but straightforward case of a house fire soon turned into one of the most baffling disappearances ever recorded. In the aftermath, a series of strange occurrences, conflicting evidence, and chilling clues suggested that the Sodder children might not have died in the fire at all, but instead had been kidnapped. The fire began around 1 a.m. after the children had gone to bed following a joyful Christmas Eve. Jenny Sodder, the mother, was awoken by the sound of the phone ringing. When she answered, a woman with an unfamiliar voice asked for someone who did not live there. The caller laughed strangely before hanging up. Jenny noticed that the lights in the house were still on and the doors were unlocked, which was unusual. She assumed her children had simply forgotten to turn everything off and went back to bed. Shortly afterward, she heard a loud bang on the roof, followed by a rolling sound, but she dismissed it and fell asleep. Minutes later, she woke up again to the smell of smoke. She rushed to wake her husband, George, and the two quickly gathered the children who were within reach, Sylvia, their youngest daughter, and their 2 older sons. As they attempted to rescue the other children, they realized something was terribly wrong. The staircase leading to the upper floor was engulfed in flames, cutting off access to the bedrooms where 5 of their children were sleeping. George tried to break in through a window, shattering the glass and badly cutting himself in the process. However, he could not see anything beyond the thick smoke and raging flames. Desperate, George ran outside to retrieve his ladder to climb up to the children's rooms, but strangely, it was missing from its usual spot. He then attempted to drive one of his 2 coal trucks up to the house to use it as a platform, but neither truck would start, despite both having worked fine the previous day. Jenny tried calling the fire department, but their phone line was dead. A neighbor had to drive into town to alert the fire department, but help did not arrive until nearly 8 hours later. By then, the house was reduced to ashes. It was assumed that the 5 children had perished in the blaze, but as the investigation unfolded, unsettling questions arose. First, there were no human remains found in the debris. Fire experts later confirmed that even in a house fire, bones should have remained intact. But in the Sodder home, there were no skulls, teeth, or any recognizable remains. This contradicted Jenny Sodder's own research. She had burned animal bones in her oven for hours and still found recognizable fragments. If her children had died in the fire, where were their remains? Another odd detail was that the fire itself burned unusually fast. Witnesses reported that the house was engulfed within 45 minutes. A local fire chief speculated that the fire could have been hot enough to completely cremate the bodies, but that explanation did not hold up under scrutiny. Even in much hotter and longer-burning fires, human bones typically remain. The family also noticed that household appliances, partially burned wood, and even some personal items had survived the fire relatively intact. If these items could endure the flames, how could the children's bodies be completely destroyed? In the days following the fire, a string of strange occurrences deepened the mystery. A telephone repair worker discovered that the Sodder's phone line had been deliberately cut, ruling out fire damage as the cause of the disruption. Witnesses also came forward claiming to have seen the missing children. A woman working at a local diner claimed to have seen them with 2 men and 2 women of Italian descent. Another woman at a Charleston hotel reported seeing the children a week after the fire, accompanied by suspicious adults who prevented them from speaking. One of the most disturbing accounts came from a woman who claimed to have seen a group of children being taken into a car by unknown individuals on the night of the fire. Adding to the eerie clues, George Sodder recalled a conversation he had months before the fire with a traveling salesman who warned him that his house would be burned down due to his outspoken criticism of Benito Mussolini and the Italian government. The Sodders, originally from Italy, were known for their anti-fascist views, which had earned them enemies within the local Italian community. Could the fire have been an act of revenge? Was it possible that the children had been kidnapped rather than perishing in the flames? Determined to find answers, the Sodders hired private investigators, including a former FBI agent, to look into the case. One detective discovered that a local insurance salesman had threatened George, telling him that his house would go up in smoke and that his children would be harmed. Another investigator learned that the fire was likely caused by an incendiary device rather than faulty wiring, as authorities initially suggested. This theory was supported by Jenny's memory of hearing a loud thump on the roof just before the fire broke out. Some believe this could have been a firebomb or another type of explosive device. In the 1950s, George and Jenny Sodder erected a billboard along a highway near their home, displaying photos of the missing children and offering a reward for information. The sign remained up for decades, becoming a well-known landmark and keeping the case in the public eye. Over the years, the family received numerous leads, but none led to conclusive answers. One of the most chilling developments came in 1967, when Jenny received a mysterious photograph in the mail. The image depicted a young man in his 30s who bore a striking resemblance to their missing son, Louis. On the back of the photo, there was a cryptic message: "Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, ill boys, a 90132 or 35. The meaning of this message was never deciphered, and the sender was never identified. Despite tireless efforts, George Sodder passed away in 1969 without ever knowing what happened to his children. Jenny continued searching for them until her death in 1989, always wearing black as a symbol of mourning. The remaining Sodder siblings carried on the investigation but eventually accepted that they might never uncover the truth. Today, the disappearance of the Sodder children remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Theories range from a tragic accident to an elaborate kidnapping plot orchestrated by the mafia, government agencies, or unknown enemies. Could the children have been taken as part of a human trafficking operation? Did they grow up unaware of their true identities? Or were they silenced by powerful forces who did not want the truth to emerge? Even decades later, the case still haunts those who study it. The fire that should have left behind evidence instead raised more questions than answers. The eerie clues, the missing ladder, the disabled trucks, the eyewitness accounts, suggest that something far more sinister happened that night. Whether the children perished in the fire or were taken away under the cover of darkness, their fate remains a chilling enigma, locked in history as one of the most disturbing disappearances ever recorded. Will we ever solve these mysteries? The human quest for knowledge has always been driven by an insatiable curiosity to understand the unknown. Throughout history, countless mysteries have perplexed scientists, historians, and philosophers, challenging the limits of human comprehension. From ancient artifacts whose origins remain elusive to cosmic phenomena that defy the laws of physics, these enigmas persist, defying explanation and inviting speculation. Despite remarkable advancements in technology, science, and artificial intelligence, some mysteries seem to be beyond our grasp, raising the question, will we ever solve them? The answer is complex, as it delves into the very nature of human understanding, the limitations of our current knowledge, and the evolving nature of discovery. One of the biggest obstacles to solving long-standing mysteries is the sheer limitation of available evidence. Many ancient mysteries, such as the construction of the pyramids, the origins of lost civilizations, or the purpose of megalithic structures like Stonehenge, remain unsolved simply because the records that could explain them have been lost to time. While archaeologists and historians piece together fragments of information, there are often too many missing pieces to form a complete picture. New discoveries sometimes provide clues, but they also raise more questions, deepening the enigma rather than resolving it. The same issue arises in criminal cases, such as the disappearance of Amelia Earhart or the identity of Jack the Ripper, where critical evidence may never be recovered. Unless new breakthroughs occur, these mysteries may remain open-ended, forever tantalizing future generations. Even in the realm of science, where rigorous methodologies are applied, certain questions persist without definitive answers. The nature of dark matter and dark energy, which make up the vast majority of the universe, remains one of the greatest unsolved scientific mysteries. Despite extensive research, scientists have yet to directly detect or understand these invisible forces that influence galaxies and cosmic expansion. Similarly, the origins of consciousness, how and why humans experience self-awareness, continue to baffle neuroscientists and philosophers alike. Will we ever reach a point where we can fully explain these phenomena, or are we limited by the very structure of our cognitive abilities? It is possible that some questions are beyond human comprehension, locked away in a realm that we are not equipped to access. Another factor that complicates the resolution of great mysteries is the reluctance of institutions or individuals to accept new explanations. History has shown that paradigm shifts in understanding often face resistance, even in the face of compelling evidence. When Galileo proposed that the Earth revolved around the Sun, he faced fierce opposition from the established authorities of his time. Similarly, radical ideas that challenge conventional wisdom are often dismissed until overwhelming proof forces a shift in perspective. This suggests that some mysteries might already have solutions, but societal biases, institutional reluctance, or the slow progression of knowledge prevent them from being widely accepted. The reluctance to embrace new theories can prolong the mystery, making it appear unsolvable when, in reality, the answers may already be within reach. There is also the possibility that some mysteries remain unsolved because they are deliberately concealed. In cases involving government secrecy, classified research, or intelligence operations, information may be withheld from the public, leading to endless speculation. The truth behind UFO sightings, secret military projects, or unexplained disappearances may be buried in restricted files, accessible only to a select few. If such mysteries are intentionally kept hidden, they may never be fully solved in the public domain. However, history has shown that classified information often finds its way into public knowledge over time, suggesting that some of these secrets may eventually be revealed. The question is whether they will be disclosed in our lifetime or remain locked away indefinitely. As technology continues to advance, our ability to investigate the unknown improves. Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and enhanced scientific instruments offer new ways to analyze data, simulate scenarios, and uncover hidden patterns. AI has already contributed to solving historical ciphers, decoding ancient texts, and even assisting in complex astrophysical calculations. It is likely that future technological breakthroughs will allow us to solve mysteries that seem impossible today. However, there may always be a limit to what technology can achieve. Some answers may require direct evidence that no longer exists, while others might demand an understanding of concepts that are beyond our current intellectual capacity. The nature of discovery is also a never-ending cycle. Each answer we find leads to new questions, ensuring that the pursuit of knowledge remains infinite. Consider the discovery of DNA, which revolutionized biology but also opened up new debates about genetic engineering, evolution, and the very nature of life itself. The exploration of space, once thought to be limited to our solar system, has expanded to include the search for habitable exoplanets, extraterrestrial life, and the fundamental nature of the cosmos. Even if we solve today's mysteries, new ones will emerge, keeping humanity on an eternal path of discovery. The universe is vast, time is infinite, and the scope of what we do not yet understand is likely far greater than what we have already uncovered. Ultimately, the question of whether we will ever solve all mysteries may not have a simple yes or no answer. Some mysteries may be resolved through persistence, innovation, and breakthroughs in understanding. Others may remain beyond reach due to the limitations of evidence, cognition, or secrecy. The process of unraveling the unknown is what drives human progress, making the pursuit of answers just as important as the answers themselves. Whether or not we solve every mystery, the journey of exploration ensures that the human spirit of curiosity will never fade. Perhaps, in the end, it is not about finding all the answers, but about continuing to ask the right questions.